Hello, everyone. I'm Captain Logan, and joining me is Danny Nixon.
Hey, everybody, it's Danny Nixon.
Welcome back, Danny. I'm hearing an echo. I don't know.
Are
Danny
you?
and I are. Are you? Danny and I are going to review the launch for DC Universe, the new streaming service that we've been talking about a lot. There's been a lot of hype for the last several months. It's going to eventually, so I guess eventually, starting next month, have some original series that people are really anticipating. Of course, Titans had real mixed the reactions when the trailer for that dropped, but there's going to be later on Doom Patrol and Swamp Thing and that animated Harley Quinn series. And sorry, what was that?
They, like, the last few days announced a Batgirl series too.
Oh, I didn't even know about that. Okay.
Yeah, so, and we don't even know which Batgirl is going to be. We don't know if it's going to be.
See, I want to be excited about that. And what's nice about Batgirl is I can say I'm a fan of that character, and it doesn't matter which one I'm talking about, because I like every Batgirl. Like, yeah, like I kind of like, okay, I say I don't care. Like, you could do a great Barbara Gordon series, and they'll never do a Cassandra Cain, but like, you could do that. But like, I don't know, Stephanie Brown I like a lot. Like, you could do about anybody. Like, they're all good.
Yeah, Babs has always been my personal Batgirl, just because of Batman the Animated Series. The little bit of Stephanie Brown I've read in Rebirth Detective Comics, I've kind of fallen in love with that character.
Oh, and in Rebirth will be interesting.
Yeah, same. And I've heard she's kind of gotten shafted in that, so I'm like, man, if I like her here, I'm gonna love her when I finally.
Her solo book was dynamite when I read of it. I think I read the first 8 or 9 issues of that. It's really good.
So honestly, I'd be up for any of the three. I would kind of love like a Batgirl family type of thing where you got Oracle as the mentor, you got Stephanie running around as Spoiler, and you've got Cassandra running around as Batgirl. That would be like,
but if you're gonna do that, just call it Birds of Prey, man. Just do a Birds of Prey show.
Well, I'd rather have a Birds of Prey show than a standard Batgirl show.
Yes, of course, but I'm cool with Batgirl by herself. But anyway, we digress. I didn't know. So there's a little bit of Captain's Log for a thing I didn't even know was happening. But we're gonna talk a little bit about DC Universe. It just launched last week and a half ago.
The official launch was
the 15th.
The 15th, which was Saturday, which was Batman Day. For, I guess it was just the people who pre-ordered. You could view it on the Thursday before, which is what I did. And it's kind of been the same since Saturday as far as content goes. So I would, because before...
They've added a couple of things.
They've added a few things, but it's not like on Thursday and Friday where you could refresh the page and you would see a new thing get added, which we'll talk about here in a second.
Sure.
But they did a very soft launch, and then on Saturday, on Batman Day was the day that they really went gung-ho and were putting all the, like, obviously Batman stuff. But
I mean, you say gung-ho, but I would argue that their official launch was softer than it should have been.
Well, relatively gung-ho. Gung-ho for what this is going to be, it seems.
Because I want to come out swinging on this. I am like maybe excited about this. Like I want to be stoked about what it could be as it moves forward. And I don't want to complain too much because it's brand new and I'm not expecting it to have like everything and a million things yet. But honestly, I think a lot of us, with the way it was advertised, with that initial trailer they put out, expected to see quite a bit more at launch.
Okay, I want to go off on my own little tangent real quick. For those who don't watch the live show, and don't really know a whole lot about me, my big thing is DC. Big fan of Batman the Animated Series. Big fan of DC in general. That's my big thing.
That's his jam. That's Danny's jam.
But yeah, DC is my thing. I was super excited about this, thinking there's going to be stuff on here that I haven't seen in a while that I'll get to rewatch. You know, some minor stuff, right? I'm so disappointed with this thing. I am so disappointed. I want my $75 back, honestly. And that's hard for me to say because it's got the first 3 seasons of Batman the Animated Series in HD, which I thought would be enough of a selling point. It's not. I kind of want my money back.
Wow, already. But I mean, like, you don't you want to give it time and see what it looks like in a few months? Like,
I would say yes, but Warner Brothers has already shown with their Boomerang streaming service, they can put out a lot of content at launch and hold people's attention. They should have followed that model with that streaming service for this one, and they would have had no problems.
Yeah.
And onto a non-Warner Brothers topic, in the WWE Network, when it launched, had hundreds of thousands of hours at launch of, they put every DVD they've ever made. They were slowly rolling out every weekly episode of the wrestling program that they owned. They couldn't roll out at once because that was a monstrous task. But the WWE Network was able to put out so much content.
I didn't know it had its own streaming service. Weird.
Yeah, it's $10 a month. It is the best library for $10 a month you'll ever find. Now,
I was going to ask you what the monthly charge was for that, because if you said it was like $15, I'd be like, yeah, okay, and this is only $8, and they're not giving you a whole lot at launch, but that's not a big discrepancy in price.
No, and to give a little reference,
the comics are not going to make up for it for a lot of people, even that I have complaints about. But
I do too. They've got a bunch of things that are just Rebirth #1. That's ridiculous. Put out the first trade of Rebirth. It's not like you're going to lose a whole bunch of sales by having I Am Gotham on there.
It looks too much like my comic collection. You've got too many books that it's like 7 and 8 for some reason.
Yeah, and it's weird. They're not even following like the 6, 12, 18 kind of structure. If I saw like 18 issues of Swamp Thing, I'd be like, okay, that's fine. You got about 3
trades. They didn't have the entire run. There's at least like a story arc.
Yeah, but they've got it like, it cuts off at like 23 on some things. It won't even go 1 to 23. It'll just be a couple random ones. I'm like, okay, is that like, they've got a section to their credit of first appearances for villains. If those are the ones that we're seeing, okay, that's fine.
Yeah, that makes sense. Sure. But I guess I didn't think of that. That might be why, because with some of those, I wasn't looking at exactly what the stories were and the reason that they put. So like when I said some things are like just 7 and 8, there might be a reason for that. There might be a method to that madness, but
there might be. But with the way their search function works, I don't know if they've got that stuff completely separated or not. Yeah, and I haven't gone too much to look, but it doesn't seem like, I don't see a whole lot of repeats in sections.
Yeah, to be fair, I haven't looked hard into the comic section yet, but I wasn't super impressed with it right away. It looks a lot like what Marvel Unlimited was at the start. Now I'm glad that there's as much recent stuff as there is, but like Marvel Unlimited would kind of do that sort of thing too, where it would just be really random things, and it kind of felt like you were in some ways paying for advertising, where it was kind of hoping that you would go buy books. And this looks like that to some degree to me. But again, I'm expecting it to get better. Like I'm trying to decide how much of the things I'm not liking about this, I'm likely to not be complaining about in 3 or 4 months.
There are some technical issues that I think are just unacceptable for a net launch thing. No, it wasn't. Have you tried watching anything on there?
Some, yeah, and we should talk about it also on different platforms. But what I was going to say is, like, it, or when I say platform, sorry, I'm messing up my terminology. I don't mean platforms. I mean different devices. Yeah, because its interface is totally different on different devices, and the input is, the responsiveness is different on different devices. It feels a lot like a video game that was rushed hard and then needed like 1,000 patches and DLC.
Yeah, I tried watching it on my phone. It literally would not stream whatever, like Teen Titans episode 1. It would not do that. It would immediately jump to 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
What?
And the next thing I know, I'm backing up to the homepage. I've got up to episode 13 of season 1 showing up in my or jump back in, or whatever they call that section. I was dive back in is what they call it. I was infuriated by that. I was like, come on, now I can't even keep track of what I was supposed to be watching. Luckily, it was just episode 1, so I could go right back to the beginning.
Again, like I'm sounding really apologetic. Where like I understand that there are glitches sometimes at the start, but like if you pre-ordered it or you're already paying for it, like you're already paying for it, so they're expecting you to be able to use it. So if you can't use it, you're already like losing money on it and not able to enjoy it the way you expect you would when you start looking at it. But also, we're already past the first week, which means there are people who got the 7-day trial and are paying for it now.
Yeah.
And it's not functional in certain cases. I have watched a few things on it that stream just fine. I watched the first episode of Birds of Prey on it. Didn't have any problem with that. I watched some Batman with Freddy. My 3-year-old didn't have any problem with that. But I want to talk about it on different devices because Roku is terrible. Watching it on a Roku stick right now is nigh impossible. So like, now I say nigh impossible. That's where you watch Birds of Prey and Batman. Once I finally got there, the actual stream ran just fine. But super non-responsive on the remote. And I should put in a caveat and say, or a disclaimer and say, 2-3 weeks from now, if you're watching this video, a lot of this might have been fixed and changed already, right? This is a very in the moment review. We're posting this right away after we record it because some of these things even tomorrow might not still be issues. But this is just our experience with it right away. Really non-responsive with the remote, and it wasn't just my remote with Roku because I had just looked at Netflix or YouTube and the responsiveness was normal. So like, Danny, it was this bad. I would press the up button or the down button and wait like 8 to 10 seconds before it did anything. So like that was really problematic. And then here's the craziest thing. Some shows just don't work at all. And so like Batman animated series had no problem with, right?
Of course not.
Superman, right? That's like really they should have just called it the Batman animated series streaming service. Minus the season 4, which we'll talk about. Superman, we all know, a lot of us, I'm sure, it's 3 seasons. It says 3 seasons. It only shows that there are 2 seasons when you click on it.
Oh my God.
On the bottom, it says 1 and 2, and when you go to them, you see no episode list, and it crashes immediately. And you have to start the whole thing over again. We did it 3 times and gave up on Superman.
They have this with a couple different things. So for the people who are familiar with Teen Titans, the original cartoon series, it has 5 seasons. Well, on this streaming service, it shows 3. So I thought, what? The show's not streaming anywhere. Why there wouldn't be any contractual issues of why they can only do a certain amount. No, season 1 and 2 are combined into 1 season, so they've got 23 or 26 episodes in 1 season. Season 2 shown on DC Universe is 3 and 4, and then season 3 is season 5. It is so confusing.
If you do that, you can't call it by season. You have to say volume.
That's what I thought. And the infuriating thing with this, they do the same thing with Batman the Animated Series. Those are not seasons. The first technical season of Batman the Animated Series runs for like 65 episodes because they were
but to be fair, that's been a problem before with that.
Even on Amazon, they called it volumes.
Oh, did they?
Yes, they did.
Yes, I didn't realize that. Okay.
It's volume. Why can you not keep your own terminology straight, DC? Jeez.
Yeah, it looks really lazy, right? It's like it's just on that streaming service, the terminology is season. They use it. They use it everywhere. So even if they want to fudge it so that they can organize it differently, it still says that. That's ridiculous. Have you had any trouble playing anything?
I cannot get it to stream anything for more than like 30 seconds without a little hiccup.
Okay, on what device? What are you using?
My laptop.
Because I have learned it's different with different things. So I haven't tried to stream anything on my desktop yet. Right here. I mean, I'll try something right now while we're talking. Obviously, you guys won't be able to see it, but I'll see. I'm looking at it right now as we're looking at it. Let's. I'm going to start watching Batman Returns because I also want to complain about Batman Returns here in a second, and not just because of the things I don't like about Batman Returns, but I want to complain about Batman Returns here in a second. Oh, sorry, I have to log in first. Hang on, let me log in while we're talking here. I'm gonna log in. So
while you're trying to log in, I want to say
go right ahead.
They launched it with a Roku app that apparently doesn't work. Why do they not launch it with an Xbox and a PlayStation 4 app?
Did they not?
No, because that's how I was going to watch it. It was like, these are cartoons that I want to like put on and fall asleep to, or put on in the background, not have to be on my computer to watch them. Because there's a lot of stuff that I can just put on for filler noise. Like some stuff that I don't particularly care for, but it's nice to go back and watch. I couldn't do it. I couldn't get it to stream from my phone to my Xbox by screen sharing it. I couldn't get it to work on my phone in general because it wouldn't play the video. It would just skip between a bunch of different things like I was talking about earlier.
Yeah.
I can't get it to stream without skipping on my computer, and it's not my connection because YouTube works fine, Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, WWE Network, any other streaming service I've ever used, even
didn't have any problem with it.
DirecTV's online streaming when you've got a cable subscription, Everything works fine except
it might
for this
vary
one
by
thing.
user, but it shouldn't unless you have like, you know, an inferior video card or some substandard technology or whatever, right? But to be fair, I'm looking at Batman Returns right now and not having any problem with it so far.
Well, for me, it's after the first like 5 minutes that it goes to crap.
Oh, okay. So I'll just let it run while we're talking. I'm listening to Danny Elfman's wonderful score right now in Batman Returns. So can I complain about Batman Returns for a minute? We're jumping all over the place with this. But okay, I'm sorry. Let me backtrack. I'll talk about that in a minute. We should stay on devices for a second. So I haven't had any problem with it on my phone so far.
And we both have iPhones, right?
No, I have an Android, and I haven't had any problem with it on the Android. One thing I really do appreciate, I haven't tried this yet, so I'm assuming it works. Maybe I shouldn't assume that with some of the problems we've had with it, but I do appreciate that right away it allows Chromecast, because I do a lot of casting, and not every app has that available, and Amazon doesn't do it, which is really irritating. I have to kind of strategize what devices I put on what TVs in my house because of that, which is really annoying. But this actually has it, so that's nice.
Good for that, and good for doing the Roku thing. But I'm still infuriated, and I can't watch it on my Xbox. I mean,
no, that's unfortunate.
If it's the end of 2018, and you're not like the first one to jump into the streaming service, you know, sandbox, follow some of the like kind of guidelines that other people have set forward of, okay, we're going to launch it. We're going to launch it with everything that we're going to have for this, at least this first period, however they got their rights set up for what will be on at what times.
Mm-hmm.
Set it up to where everything is available on every device. Obviously, there's going to be bugs. You cannot, it's impossible to code without bugs. Trust me, I'm not complaining that there's bugs. I get it. That's normal. It's the amount of bugs. It's the amount of things that should have been caught. It's the amount of like how lazy this feels. Like, yeah, we'll throw stuff up when we feel like it.
Well, and none of it feels like it's breaking down because too many people are using it at once or anything like that. It feels like stuff you could have fixed before you launched it.
Yeah, like the see more button that doesn't go away after you have everything shown on the screen. All that takes would be a little bit of JavaScript or something even less complicated than JavaScript to say when everything is shown, hide this button. That's all you got to do.
And the organization is weird because on different devices, depending on what you're looking at, sometimes you have to scroll through like different sections that you would be less likely to look at before you just get the basic here's TV and here's movies.
Ooh, that's one of the things I wanted to complain about. And I want to preface this by saying I've got a degree in web design. I know a little bit about how to lay out a website. I'm not going to say I'm perfect. I'm not going to brag about my own skills. These are like 101 type of things. The average,
yeah, and Danny's going to make Geekvolution a website. So once that happens, you can go look at that and you can complain or praise Danny's website abilities.
Please make a video ranting about the Geekvolution website as hard as
how broken it is.
Yes,
and
please.
How it's got all these bugs at launch, and how there aren't nearly enough links to YouTube videos.
But no, to my actual point.
Where is Spawn Year? Where is Spawn Year?
It's nested under Batman Year. Duh.
Oh, okay. That's weird.
But no, the rule of thumb when you're designing a website, people should have 3, maybe 4 clicks to get to what they're looking for. If I were to go and I'm going to try and watch Batman the Animated Series, well, no, because that's on the front page because of Batman Day and all that
stuff. Right now.
Yeah, if I were to go to their webpage and I'm going to try to find a random movie, the first thing I'm going to see is their hero image, which is a movie that they're pushing right now, which when I'm looking at is Superman the movie. Fine. Under that, dive back in. Good. Then they've got trending movies and TVs. Trending movie and TVs. Trending movies and TV. I'll get that right the third time. If I click see more on that, what's it going to take me to? The exact same. It's going to take me to dcuniverse.com/videos. The exact same screen I was just on.
Oh, weird. No, that's not right.
Not at all. So what I have to do is I have to click on movies and TV up at the header. Hey, I got it right the first try. And then click on, and then scroll all the way down, past the hero image, past dive back in, past celebrate Batman Day to movies, and then click see more again. So that's 4 clicks I've had to do now. First to get to the webpage, clicking on see more the first time, having to back out and go to the movies and the TV button in the header. So that's 3. And now, okay, they've got a see more button down here at the bottom. I'm going to click it. Going to keep clicking it. Nothing else is going to pop up. That should not be there if everything is already being displayed right now.
Yeah. And now my assumption is, like, it feels like a placeholder, right? There's a lot of stuff on that website that feels like placeholders. And that makes me assume that a year from now, there will be a lot more on it, and a lot of what we're complaining about right now will be outdated. But I would have been smart enough not to have a see more button if there's not enough stuff where you'd need it. Like, my assumption is that button is there because eventually when you click it, it will go to page 2. But there's not enough for page 2 right now.
And right now, because what I'm seeing in the movies section does not have movies I just saw on their homepage. It does not have Batman 89, does not have Returns, it does not have Forever, and it does not have Batman and Robin. Okay,
so let me explain why those don't seem to be there, because I discovered something. By the way, I'm 5 minutes into Batman Returns and it hasn't broken down yet. So it seems to be working. I'm 6 minutes in. It seems to be working okay on my end so far from what you were saying earlier. But just giving it its due as much as I can. But did you notice this? Batman Returns says available until 9:30
p.m. Like not 9-30
no,
the date.
No, like the date 9:30 the date. So
okay.
They have Batman Day. They have movies that they put up for Batman Day that they're planning on taking off. So you launched your streaming service and you're going to start taking things off of it like 2 weeks in. So that means, because the thing is, I think a lot of people are signing up for this assuming it's going to be a library and that it won't be like Netflix and like they won't put things in and take. You were talking about Boomerang earlier. I don't think Boomerang does that. I don't think they take things down and put things back on.
They have taken 1 or 2 things down that were just licensing issues, and they weren't classic shows. It's not like Flintstones or the Jetsons were on there for a little bit of time and were taken down. It was more recent stuff that probably.
But I'm talking about doing it as like a gimmick to keep to keep people interested. And yeah, I don't think they've done that.
So okay. I saw the thing that said celebrate Batman Day all month. I thought that was just a month-long banner that's going to be showing all these nice Batman movies.
The reason they don't have that in the main listing is because those are not permanent fixtures. They're not going to be there later.
Oh my.
Yeah, and. I might be. I think I'm right about this. Am I remembering this correctly? Batman Returns is in that trailer for this.
It is. It's one of the things they push because they're showing that Catwoman, the part where she jumps on Batman and like licks his nose of his cowl. They sold it on that movie, in part.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to take it down 2 weeks, right? Because 15th to the 30th. That's the 15th.
I don't know what else that could mean.
Yeah, it's 9.30. It's not 9:30, which would be 9:30. Which, if you're doing a streaming service that was only available between certain hours,
no, of course it's not the time. Yeah,
that would be amazing though, and I'd have to give them some props for creativity.
We have a curfew, so there are certain movies that you can't watch past a certain time, so your kids aren't seeing them. And it's like any rated R movie on this service. Wouldn't that be great if their original content was not available between the hours of such and such? But that would be insane. How would you code that? Because, okay, we're not even reviewing this anymore, but like, how would you even code it? Because it would be different on different coasts and different parts of the world and stuff.
Setting stuff up to work towards whatever their specific time zone is not that difficult. I don't know about like. That seems like a massive headache to make sure everything's working fine where it shows up at certain hours.
They're not even doing that. There's no reason we should be talking about it.
That would be great. I would give them props if they managed to do that, because that would just the nerve to do something like that. But anyways.
It already looks more stripped down than people expected it to. I mean, it seems like practically everything they showed in that trailer is the library they have.
Now,
There's hardly anything that's in here that we didn't already see.
Except for the specials and the shorts, which I'll give them credit for putting up there. And was really interesting because I was not expecting anything like that. Usually a streaming service, it's going to be the movies. You're never going to get special features. You're certainly not going to get that on Netflix or anything else. And so,
no, that's really cool. And like the kind of gamut they're covering is neat. Like, I'm still excited that they put comics in it at all and that they're making it this kind of catch-all. Like, they've got like a new show and stuff. Like, it's cool they're doing all of that. But I'm concerned that they're shooting themselves in the foot if they're going to rotate things out like that.
Yeah.
That sounds like a Disney Vault move to me. Like,
that's exactly what it feels like. And if this holds up the way I'm assuming it's going to, where we have stuff put up every like month and it only sticks around for a month, I will be canceling this after after this first year runs out. And I probably won't use it all that much in the meantime. I'll just.
Well, that tells me that the main thing they're trying to be like Netflix. Like the main thing it's for is their original content, and they want to try to keep you around with that. And then they have some other things available so that you feel like you're getting more bang for your buck. But to your point before we recorded, then at the very least launch with one of those shows.
Yeah, that's a big thing for me. And we talked about it a little bit. I don't even know if I mentioned this when we started recording. If you're going to launch and you're going to push your launch on the fact that you're putting new original programming, do not launch before you've got that new original programming. It's not like you're launching a new Hulu or a new Netflix where the thing you're launching with is you're going to have access to the stuff you've never seen. You've never had the ability to stream before, right? It's not like we're back in that time where it's a novelty and it's a pleasure to be able to sit down and binge watch these random shows from NBC that you remembered from a couple years ago that you never thought you'd see again because they're not doing syndication. This was specifically sold on the fact that you'll get the classic stuff that you remember and the new stuff we're hoping you're excited for, and you get one of those for 2 weeks, and the other you have to wait until October 12th, I think, is the launch date for Titans. And then we don't even know when Swamp Thing, Doom Patrol, Batgirl, when any of those are coming out.
If you're going to do that, then, and like, I feel like we're being really kind of negative on this, but I'm with you. I'm not real impressed with the launch. Like, I think this service could be great later, but I'm really afraid they're shooting themselves in the foot initially, and that some people are going to look at this and be like, oh, this isn't what I thought it was going to be. It's not as beefy as I thought. There's not enough here that I didn't already have access to. I'm not going to keep looking at this until the original programming starts. If you're going to do that, I think at the very least, it should have been a 30-day trial and not a 7-day trial.
Yeah. And I'm being perhaps more negative in how I'm expressing this because I am such a fan of DC and I want people to know that it's irritating someone who is so forgiving of what DC does in general, not just with this streaming service. And I don't want people to think I'm not trying to come off as entitled. I'm not expecting every single DC thing ever made to be on this.
I wanted to say that too. Yeah, we're not complaining that not everything is here. It's a lot less than I expected, even at launch. And I think it was, again, I think that advertising was a little bit misleading.
I agree. And
because it looked like a library.
It did. It looked like you'd have a good selection of maybe the obscure stuff. I at least thought, at the very least, we'd get Catwoman and Green Lantern. Why? No one is going out and rushing to buy the Blu-ray of Green Lantern or Catwoman. You're not going to lose any physical sales by sticking those on the streaming site. Why aren't they on here?
Yeah, and it would just beef it up more. And I don't know if anybody's really going to watch those, but at least they're there. And I mean, like kids that are curious to go back, there's history there. They can find out about those things. It's maybe a little bit more disappointing for me than it would be for some other people, because the main reason I'm paying for this is A, to tell you guys about it, and B, because they're going to have original programming I'm going to want to review later. Most of what's here is stuff I own already, and that would be the case even if everything was here. Because like I collect this stuff. I have a library. So this is not for me as much as it's for other people. But my question to you, at least as far as the library part of it goes, my question to you is, Danny, do you think that a lot of DC fans that maybe are younger and haven't had time to collect or didn't buy this stuff in the first place are going to be as disappointed as we are? Or do you think more people will just be happy with what's there because they don't have access to it in the first place?
People my age are going to be thrilled and ecstatic at Static Shock, Teen Titans.
Yeah, Static Shock was a big get. I didn't know that was going to be there.
Yeah, and there was another cartoon that's on here as well. I'm going to have to click through 1,000 different links to find it.
I mean, I'm excited that we have Brave and the Bold streaming again finally, but we didn't get the Batman.
Or Batman, Beware the Batman. Yeah, it's Young Justice.
Hopefully, those are the three. Yeah. But of course, Young Justice is there because they're putting out a third season.
Of course, but
like, that has to be there.
Well, I just meant things that people my age are going to be excited about. It'll be Batman Beyond, Static Shock, Teen Titans, Young Justice. Those are the big four of cartoons that will keep me in here until I at least finish watching those.
Sure.
And, you know, if I can ever get it to stop buffering while I try to watch it.
Well, and you can, and again, I don't know what that's happening to you because it wasn't, and maybe it depends on what browser you're using. It might depend on that.
I'm using Chrome.
Well, I was using Chrome too.
I haven't thought to use Safari because I'm on a Mac, because Safari tends to be kind of iffy with video streaming.
It doesn't play well usually with those streaming sites. Yeah. I'll give it props for having Death of Superman right away because that just came out.
Yeah, I will give them. I was not expecting recently released animated movies to be on here. I wasn't expecting any DCEU because they would have sold it on having at least Man of Steel or Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman will be the big one that you sell it on.
I would have done that had I been them.
I'd at least put Wonder Woman on here.
That would have been really smart.
Okay, this is going to sound really cynical. And what month is International Women's Day in?
I don't remember, and I should know that because it's a Deadpool quote.
Yeah,
there's a whole thing about that in Deadpool, but I don't remember.
They'll launch it then. They'll put all three.
That's not a cynical thing to say, though. I could see them doing that.
Yeah, but because we're being more negative, I don't want people to take that as me being negative towards.
Well, I wouldn't. I mean, I'm not complaining it's not there. I'm just complaining that there's not more at launch than there is.
Yeah.
Especially if they're taking stuff off right away. I think that's really crazy. And what they're taking off are the main, a lot of the things that you just expected would be there. And I say a lot, they're not taking much off, but like the old Batman movies from the 90s, that's the main stuff you figured would stay there forever, that they would never lose.
That's the stuff that kind of bounced back and forth between Netflix. It would be on there for a couple months, it would go off.
Like the Star Trek movies for some reason.
Yeah, I get 66 not being on here because I think there's still some issues with Fox as far as that goes, where they may not be able to stream that. I'm not.
Oh, that's a good question. Yeah,
I get that not being on there,
even though they can distribute it.
Well, that's my thing, is I don't know what kind of deal they reached with Fox as far as distribution goes.
Because this might be a weird thing where they wouldn't have been allowed to put it on television either. And so if this counts as television, then
that's what I'm thinking, is that was released far enough back that the idea of signing into contracts, we had the right to also stream it, would not have immediately come up, or would have been one of those issues they backed away from because it's not that big of a deal at the time. So that may be why it's not on there. That's not really the big deal. But Batman 89 through Batman and Robin why aren't those kind of like your mainstays that people can always go back to no matter when they sign up for this thing?
Danny, complain about the Batman season 4 thing.
Okay. So for those who have been following along with Bat Chat, you've probably heard that Batman the Animated Series has been on Amazon Prime for years at this point. You got all four, you've got the entirety of it split up into 4 volumes. The redesign, the new Batman Adventures, has always been on that streaming service, and in the DVD release, been classified as Batman the Animated Series Volume 4. And in the legalese kind of disclaimer before this site launched, they never mentioned the new Batman Adventures, and they never mentioned the complete Batman the Animated Series being launched. So I was not expecting that to be on here. I was also not expecting Batman the Animated Series to stay on Amazon Prime at the same time it's on here, just because, of course, they're not going to like cannibalize that audience who is buying it for the show.
Although it should be noted, there are some things that are here that are still in some other places.
Yeah, and that's a good point to bring up. But this infuriates me the most, because this is the season I was currently on in my rewatch. The new Batman Adventures is not on the DC universe. It's not. It's just got the 4 seasons or volumes of Batman the Animated Series. I can't find it anywhere on the site, so it's not like I haven't looked for the new Batman Adventures. And they also took it off of Amazon Prime. I get taking the first 3 seasons off, but if you're not going to launch the DC Universe streaming service with season 4, volume 4, whatever we want to call it, why not just leave that in standard definition on Amazon Prime? You don't have to put it in HD. I'm not asking for you to go back and put the HD stuff there. I get it. You're not going to do that because you got the Blu-ray coming out. It makes sense, but leave the one thing that was on streaming that didn't get moved over on streaming. It just feels like, it honestly kind of feels like them being a little, I don't want to say too greedy because it's what they own and they can do whatever they want with it. But it feels like we're just going to keep taking from you, and we're going to take these movies off in 15 days from the actual launch of this streaming service. Less than 15 days now because it's the 20th, so 10 days.
Yeah, and we're going to give you this new streaming service that you have to pay for, and it will have some things that aren't streaming anywhere, but not necessarily the things that you cared about in the first place, but there were things that you could watch in other places that you were watching. I mean, obviously, that's case by case, and whatever people get. Like, it's cool to have Lois and Clark back somewhere.
Yeah,
and stuff like that. So, I'm not even going to say the streaming service isn't worth $8 a month right now, but especially for people that don't own this stuff, I don't know at the moment if it is for me. Like I said, I own like 90% of this, but or maybe more. But it's so like for you, but for a lot of people, I guess it would be. But again, it's too buggy, and I don't mean to talk in circles, but the my main thing is I just think it was there's kind of some false advertising.
I agree. And one thing that this is not something that's a complaint about, like the service as a service. Like, this isn't about any technical issues or stuff that it feels lacking. I don't like that you have to pay for a subscription service to then get access to exclusive collectibles that you have to pay for.
Is that what they're doing with that? I didn't.
That's what the shop
button
is.
Like, I knew there was a shop, but okay, so you have to have a subscription to use that.
Yeah, so if you go into the shop right now, like I'm doing, and they've got those new Batman figures that are based on the new Batman Adventures designs, and a couple shirts and a couple other things. Those are only available to people who are subscribed to the service. So not only do you have to pay $28 for these figures, you also have to pay $7.99 a month to get access to be able to pay them that $28. So if you
I don't know about that. I mean, if it was like discounted or whatever.
Yeah, if it was discounted, that's fine. I get it. If it's something like we get like an early launch to it, but they have not said anything about an early launch or a timed exclusive. It's DC Universe exclusive. So if there's someone who really wants one of these
figures I'm seeing are Justice League figures.
Yeah, it's Justice League, not
okay, because I went and looked because I was like, wait, if it's new Batman Adventures, that's ridiculous because they didn't put that show on here.
Yeah, sorry. I just saw the one Batman one and I thought it was that one. But no, it is Justice League. So if you really want to complete a collection of
$28 figures.
Or if you buy all of them, it's $194. But don't worry, it was originally $224. So that's what, a $30
originally savings? What? I bet it said that since the beginning.
Yeah, there is no originally because these launched with this service.
They just came out.
What, for a week you could have paid an extra $30, but after that week, oh man, now you're going to get some real savings. That's just a slap in. That's like Amazon Prime Day bumping up the price of certain items retroactively to say this item that's normally $5.99. Well, on Amazon Prime Day, it's retailing for $29.99, but you're going to get it for $5.99.
Yeah, wow. Some of that's a little insulting, man.
Yeah. And they
okay. That's not
the nerve to call that a sale.
Yeah. Cuz like that's pretty steep in the first place. And I'm sure shipping's not free.
No, this isn't Amazon Prime.
I don't know. I'm not looking at it, but I'm sure that's not free. Well, anyway, what else do you want to say about it, Danny, before we bid everybody adieu?
We haven't really talked a whole lot about the comic selection.
Yeah.
Real quick, and
actually, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I just remembered I was looking through stuff, and earlier I said they have a new show. DC Universe Presents is not a new. I thought it was a new show. That's not what that is. So I guess they're not doing that like I thought they were. So anyway.
Yeah, and I saw that. I was like, okay, that's kind of cool if there's going to be something like that on here. But
it looks like stuff that was maybe on YouTube or something. I
think that's what it is.
Yeah, it's not new. I think it's stuff that they made before. It's fine that it's here, but
yeah. But onto the comics. They've got a nice little introductory selection, and I guess that's what that's aimed at. I'm happy they've got the Batman Beyond original miniseries that's based on obviously the animated the cartoon, but the one that's based specifically on that art style and everything. I'm glad that's on there. They've got a good-ish selection of stuff. I'm not so disappointed with the comic selection because that seems like something that will just keep getting added to, and there probably won't be a lot of stuff from that taken down. I'm sure there will be stuff that goes missing, but a lot of the stuff on there doesn't seem like stuff that they might take down, or I would hope not. But I get really irritated that they've got stuff like 52 one issue, and then right next to it is 52 one issue. So you've got like doubling up on these things that could one be put together under one umbrella so you don't have to scroll through so much stuff. But no, it looks like it's the exact same issue put on there twice. It just
They have the first 6 issues of the original New Gods. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, they've got one issue of All-Star Superman, which I guess is just the entirety of it.
And they're also putting in things that are directly related to shows that they're about to put out, which is good and smart.
Yeah.
So like, I like the idea that you can come in here and learn about these characters before they give them to you. And also the encyclopedia is a nice touch. I didn't expect that.
Yeah, I really like the encyclopedia thing. I think that's something that'll get better as time goes along and they figure out how to like fine tune that to make it work better.
Yeah, and that's actually kind of above and beyond because we have Wikipedia and stuff. You didn't have to do that.
No, and I think if I were to click on that right now, it would also give me a link of all the stuff on this on the streaming service that features that character, right?
That's really cool. And if they beef this up and make it more of a library and don't keep taking things down, then that'll be a really nice feature.
Yeah, the comic section is the one I'm the least disappointed in, honestly. I knew that there'd be a lot of stuff that they put out, like a Swamp Thing section is going to get pushed really hard when that show's about to come out. But like right now, they're pushing a lot of Titans related stuff and Batman because it's Batman Day month.
Does anybody say that with May the 4th be with you? It's like Star Wars Day, Star Wars 4th month.
No, but I don't know. I was more just being kind of catty with them.
Yeah,
and
no.
I only say that because I'm looking at Catwoman stuff right now.
Did they feel the need to launch this the month Batman Day happened because it's Batman Day, and that's why they didn't wait until they had a pilot ready?
I think so. I think they launched it at Batman Day so they have an excuse to put a bunch of Batman stuff up and then take it down and be like, well, it was only for Batman Day. Like, that makes it any better.
I mean, if they immediately put up some other cool things that you wouldn't have expected them to have, or just, cool things that aren't here now, like in place of that, like, I guess that's better. But A, they're not telling you what that is if that happens. And B, again, those are older things that you thought would be there. They've got the first 12 issues of Legends of the Dark Knight. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, they've got
Shaman and Gothic and Prey.
They've got All-Star Western. They've got 11 issues of Animal Man. And
yeah, no, this is better than I was giving it credit for earlier.
Yeah, certainly. Like I said, the comics are...
They've got 90s Catwoman. That's cool.
They've got Arrow comics, but they don't have the Arrow TV show. So they've got Batgirl, Unicorn.
The CW stuff, unfortunately. I mean, that's not on them.
No.
We were talking about this earlier. I am a little bit surprised that they didn't... Maybe they can't, but if they could have, that they didn't take Smallville off of Hulu and put it here. But
yeah, I figured... Because I've kind of been watching through some of the movies on Hulu that DC has up there. Because at the time I was watching them, they had a good selection of this stuff that wasn't great, but I wasn't going to pay for. But since it was free, I might as well go ahead and watch it.
I have a question for you.
Yeah,
I'm looking at Catwoman here.
Mm-hmm.
There's a section. It's Essential Catwoman, and it has the first 6 issues of '93 and the first 9 issues of 2001. But when you look at this must be a mistake. They have issue 4 listed like 7 times, 5 times.
I noticed that. That's another thing. Like,
what is that about? How does that happen?
I don't know, but they've got a couple things that are in here like double listed in the same section. It really is. It's and it's funny you say they've got the first.
I'm clicking on these to see if maybe they go to other places, but they don't. They are going to the same place. These links are right, so
they've got 0 through 6, so technically they've got 7 issues of that right.
Okay, yeah. Sure.
But they don't do a good job of like explaining what is where.
No.
One thing I'm really interested about.
We didn't talk a lot about organization earlier, but I mean we talked a little bit about that, but it's hard to find things.
Yeah, and the I think they took a page out of Netflix's playbook of making it really kind of sloppy and kind of you see a lot of duplicates, and you see a lot of stuff that's split into sections that maybe it doesn't need to be, just so it looks like it's filled out more than it actually is.
Yeah, and that's absurd right now because all of the movies take up one page.
Yeah.
And you can't make us think you have more than you have when you have 20 movies and that's all you have.
And then they have the audacity to stick a see more button on there that doesn't work.
Have you, going back to comics for a minute, have you put that and tried to read anything yet?
I have not, and I need to. And the thing I noticed when I clicked on it on my phone, you have to download it.
Yeah, but to be fair, every comics app that I've used has done that. It's not like that on the desktop, which is good, but or at least I don't think it was. Okay, so the other place I tried this because I thought it was hilarious that it was there. I was really surprised it was. On the Roku stick, you can look at the comics.
Well, that makes sense because one of the things apparently they're launching with it is panel by panel.
They haven't
almost like a motion comic
yet, and which was the next complaint I was going to make. Or if they have
launch with that,
I have not found a way to do it. I was going to complain that they're kind of hard to look at. You have to kind of zoom in and zoom out on panels on your phone, and on a Roku stick or on the desktop as I'm looking at it now, you can't really do that. I'm trying to see if there is a way to zoom.
Because I just clicked on a random green arrow issue.
Seem like... Wait a minute. I found reading mode. Okay, so on the desktop there is a reading mode.
Okay, well that's good to know. Is that how you can do the panel by panel?
I'm assuming so, but I haven't figured out how to change the page yet.
Maybe it goes to the next one once you get to the last panel.
Yes, so they do have panel for panel like Comixology does. So that's good. Okay, so I will rescind that complaint. I couldn't figure out how to do it on a Roku stick, but I don't know that anybody's really going to want to do that. But it was really funny because we were doing it on a big projector, so I put like an Aquaman comic on the projector screen.
Okay, now I'm running into an issue where when I click on multiple different comics, I just get a blank black background. Like I'm not even seeing the actual panels or the pages. That's okay. Now it's just taking a while to load. Never mind.
But see, we're starting to anticipate problems because this has been kind of hard to use. But yeah, it does have the panel for panel thing, and it looks pretty good. So that's awesome.
Yeah. I would have been really.
And so I approve of the comic section.
Yeah, the comic section is really good. There's a lot of stuff in here that I'm going to read. Like they've got a Batman and Wildcat thing in here, which.
Oh, you're a big Wildcat fan.
I don't want to say big Wildcat fan. I like the character from Justice League, and I've seen a little bit. I just think he looks super cool, and I like the idea of an old man boxer dressing up like a cat.
You know who he is, and before Arrow, and you've talked about him without being prompted, which makes you the biggest Wildcat fan I have ever met.
You know what's funny? I was a couple of years ago, right when I first went to college. I was thinking about doing like a fan comic about Wildcat because I can't find a whole lot of good Wildcat recommendations on stuff. So I'm the only person in the world who ever had the thought to write Wildcat fan fiction. That Wildcat, I'm sure
that's hilarious.
I'm sure there's some of that somewhere. I don't care to look.
So when you click on the see more button for comics, there indeed is more to look at.
That is good to know.
So
I'd
that's
be really
good.
Disappointed if you could not see more comics, and you just got 5 comics. That's our curated selection of comics for you.
Danny, we have probably belabored this enough. Is there anything else you want to mention that we didn't get a chance to talk about?
No.
Any final thoughts?
I guess we'll just end on. If you really want to see Teen Titans, you really want to see Batman Beyond, if you really want to see one of those shows that hasn't been on streaming services.
Like Brave and the Bold is finally back.
Yeah. Buy it for a month. Sorry, that's the train in the background. Buy it for a month, binge watch it, done, and come back whenever something gets added to the streaming service that you're interested in. Don't try to stick around and there goes the dog because of the train. I'm sorry.
Right. No, you're fine. But okay, so the problem with that is they clearly are strategizing this so that the new shows are coming out week to week, so that to watch those you have to hang on to the streaming service. So they're going to be relying really hard on those shows actually being popular.
They are. I think what's going to happen is you're going to see a lot of people drop out if they're not great shows. Pick it up once the
Or
final
just wait
episode is
till a
launched.
season is there. Yeah.
Exactly. That's if I wasn't in this for a year because I've already paid, that might be what I'd do after Titans at least.
Oh, there is a news tab. Oh, they have DC Daily here, so I guess they do have a new show. But it's not a new show just for this. Like, it's what they already had. But
is it daily stuff? Yeah, because there's stuff from the 20th.
Yeah.
Daily headlines, episode 5B, episode 5C. Oh, so they split it up. Okay, that's kind of neat. Okay, I'm seeing a thumbnail. When did John Barrowman just go gray with his hair? That's a really weird tangent to go on.
I don't know. He didn't look like that the last time I saw him in Arrow, but they might have painted his hair. I don't know. Anyway, well, my final thoughts, I guess, are hopefully it's less clunky pretty soon and works better on different devices. And I think they're going to have to beef it up soon because, like I said earlier, they made everybody think it was going to be more of a library than it is. Like that's I think the biggest mistake they made is not opening with maybe like 40 or 50 movies instead of 20. And you might think, well, like it's sort of limited though, right? Like there's only so many DC movies, but look at all the animated stuff and all the live action. There's a lot more than that.
Yeah, there's enough that you could fill out something like this and maybe not have a revolving list of stuff that shows up each month or each, however they choose.
I wouldn't have done it like that.
I wouldn't either. I'd stick a bunch of stuff.
I just don't think that's gonna appeal to people. I think that's gonna make people feel kind of ripped off.
No, and I don't want to harp on Boomerang. I just think that's a really good service that's got a very what's the word I'm looking for? A very cheap, inexpensive price. It's got far more content than I could ever imagine. It's got a great way it's organized its content, which I thought this would do.
It's not a huge library, and
for $5,
it's a pretty good library. But like, yeah, it's $40 a year, and at that price point, that's a really good streaming service. This should be that price for what I'm looking at right now. And Boomerang is also going to start doing original content. And I don't think they're hiking their price up. So
I haven't heard anything about it. Like I haven't gotten an email about your subscription will go up on the next billing cycle. So. Yeah,
because originally I was going to say, well, of course it's that inexpensive. Like it's not a super huge library and they don't have their own content, but they're about to. So anyway, well, folks, thanks a lot for watching. Sure appreciate it. Tell us what your experiences are so far with DC Universe. I am certainly open-minded and hoping that this gets great. And I like it for the things I like it for. Like I said, I'm more impressed with the comic section than I realized, even as we're sitting here looking at it. So
yeah, I certainly.
It's where the places where they seem to kind of, forgive my French, half-ass it, and other places where they went above and beyond.
Yeah, I certainly do not want this to fail, and I don't want anyone to have a bad time with this. I want it to succeed because I want to use this. I want to be able to use this, and I want to be able to watch through stuff that isn't normally available because they don't have it out on streaming or Blu-ray or whatever, or DVD. But right now, I'm very disappointed with what it is, and it takes a lot from DC to make me disappointed because I went and saw Batman vs Superman three times in the theaters, and I liked it all 3 times. So,
and then you found a sanity.
I did.
A lot of the rest of us, yeah.
I watched the how we felt about on this channel, and I was like, oh yeah, maybe I'm wrong.
I just think you have to work back to this though. I think you have to work harder when everybody and his dog has their own streaming service now.
Yeah, and to their credit, they did something that everyone else hasn't done so far, and that's put non.
Oh yeah, no, that's inspired.
Movies. It really is.
Well, I'm sorry. I was going to talk about the comics thing. Like, it's inspired to have something that's not movies and in TV.
Yeah, well, that's where I was going. Is they've got the comics on there. They've got special features stuff on there that I wouldn't expect either. There are areas where they got really creative and that I want to commend them for. But there's also the parts that I think were overlooked because they're the obligatory things that should be on a streaming service, and they didn't put a lot of thought into it. Like, it doesn't feel like they put a lot of thought into their movies and TV selection. And that's what you kind of should have put more thought into, because that's the first thing people are going to look at to get their first impression of what this is.
Like, conceptually, this is what I hope Disney's looks like.
Yeah, conceptually, this is the model anyone or anyone trying to enter into the streaming service should follow and practice. No one should follow this because it's kind of clunky. It's very unorganized in parts. Doing the soft launch type of thing was a mistake and kind of soured me on it because I'd click on it and there wouldn't be things on there like I expected there to be Batman stuff from the very first day that you told me I could watch stuff. And granted, I knew Batman Day was coming up and it wasn't the official launch, so I was kind of forgiving, but I don't know if you should do a soft launch if you're not going to have the big stuff people immediately want to watch.
Yeah, or extend the trial out for those people who started prior to launch if it's a lot more piddly. But anyway, this has turned kind of podcast length, and I did not expect us to talk this long about this. But folks, leave your comments. Let us know what you think about the service, and thanks a lot for listening to our opinions. And we will see you again with lots more content here on Geekvolution next week. Got the Daredevil season 1 rewind coming out tomorrow, so look forward to that. And you can watch it right now if you just can't wait until tomorrow night on Patreon. Just $2 a month gets you access to that. Patreon.com/Geekvolution. And thanks a lot for watching, everybody. Danny, thanks for doing it with me. Sure appreciate it.
Thank you. This was nice to talk about. Get it off my chest.
Yeah, Danny and I were just chatting about this earlier, and I was like, I was going to review this weekend, but why don't we just go ahead and knock it out together? So,
yeah, it very off the cuff, very impromptu, like 2 minutes notice. So,
thanks again, folks. We'll see you again next time. I am Captain Logan,
and I'm Danny.
Later, everybody.